Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And this video is probably one of the more important tone shifts that we're ever going to cover, because something is happening. And I'm going to show you right now why we are going to win in the end. Our gun rights, our country, our nation, our principle, the Bill of Rights. We will win in the end, because even the New York Times is now going public with something that we've been hitting on for the last 2 weeks. Everything that I'm about to show you is linked in the description box below, and please watch this video and send this one out, because I believe this is a message that we need to send out, because this is a really big deal. Now, if you enjoy this message and you like the video, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And I know that you guys feel spring is coming. I love spring because I get to go fishing. I just got out of the winter, a little cold, so why not get the best brands possible to enjoy the outdoor life, whether you're hiking, fishing, doing whatever you want to do from Sportsman Guide. If you are looking for the top tier brands for your outdoor life, Vortex, Irish Setter, Nomad, they've got everything. If it's outside, you'll find it at Sportsman Guide, and thank you to them for making this content possible. All right, my brothers and sisters, we have got to hit this, because I think this may be one of the most important videos I've done in a while. All right, so something that I've been saying over the past 2 and 3 weeks has been the left, the gun controllers specifically, are going so far beyond the pale in their tactics to get attention and to maintain the attention that they need and require, is they're leaning into shock value tactics. This is something, if you've seen the videos, let me know in the comments field below. But you saw, for example, this. David Hogg with another group, he did the AI voices of dead children calling politicians. That was one example. Then you had David Hogg the day of a shooting between two criminals gangs, lambasting cops and good guy with a gun, right? Then you had, right after that, Shannon Watts comes in and on a post that's saying we're going to give hundreds of thousands of dollars to the victims and first responders of the same shooting. She makes it all about you're still missing the word gun. It matters what you call it. It's gun violence. Now, the reason that I covered all those things is because they're trying to chase shock value, because their normal tactics are not garnering the attention. They've overburned their population. This is particularly in reference to the left and gun control. This is why we're going to win in the end. It may take a year, it may take 10. We're going to win this because what I'm about to show you, because the New York Times just did something that I'm not even sure they realize the significance of. All right? Let me hear you on this one, and I hope I land this plane. Let me know if I do. Anti-Trump burnout. The resistance says it's exhausted. Bracing for yet another election with Donald Trump, America's liberals are feeling the fatigue. We're kind of like crisis out, one Democrat said. And this is something that we've hit on consistently from the beginning of this channel, when I started doing political content about 3.5 years ago. We are going to pass the blessings of our Second Amendment on to the next generation, because we're going to fight like hell. We have everything in the Constitution. We have everything in the Bill of Rights. We have the court system. We are fighting a hill that is very well reinforced with constitutional principles from our founding. The other side, the left, is trudging uphill in the snow in rainy, muddy conditions because they just want to get some semblance of control, taking it from the rights that we just mentioned. They're running into brick walls, and they're losing the momentum, and they want to gain it back, i.e. the extreme shock value. All right? Now, check this out. This is so key, and I really hope I land this. So this is from the article. This is about Democrats. Then they flipped the House from Republican control, won the presidency, and secured a surprisingly strong showing in the 2022 midterm elections, galvanized by their conviction that Mr. Trump and his allies constituted a national emergency. This year, anti-Trump voters are grappling with another powerful sentiment, exhaustion. Quote, "Some folks are burned out on the outrage," said Rebecca Lee Funk, the Washington-based founder of The Outrage, a progressive activism group and purveyor of resistance-era apparel. "People are tired. I think last election we were desperate to get Trump out of office, and folks were willing to rally around that singular call to action. And this election feels different." Understand what that is. And this video might go long. I don't care. I hope you guys enjoy it. You're talking about someone who literally founded a clothing line and made a living called The Outrage off of said outrage against Trump. This is something that you need to fuel the outrage to keep your money coming in. Fuel the outrage on the Democratic Party to keep the money coming in. People will not follow fear long term because it's exhausting. People will follow hope, and they will follow constitutional principles, and they will follow the why all the way across the planet, because it's something not only for themselves, but also for the next generation. You cannot run anything on fear 24/7. That's what we're seeing right now, and this is why we have always gone from the angle of hope, and we're going to pass this on by fighting like hell. Okay? Check this out. We got more. Quote, "We're kind of like crisis out," said Shannon Sesber, 36, a security guard in Pittsburgh who called the prospect of a Trump-Biden rematch a dumpster fire, she added. "It's a crisis fatigue for sure." They have literally made their entire campaign on the Democratic left side, gun control side, whatever it is, all about the specter of Trump and the outrage against that person for coming on 8 years now. You are seeing exactly what I'm talking about, going even further in their shock rhetoric in order to motivate more fear response. Eventually, they're going to go so far that they cannot maintain the middle support, and they're only going to end up in the far bastions of the left. Progressivism is an ideology that is built on two things: hatred and destruction. I'm not saying that people who are progressive and want a better country for themselves and their way are hatred, or full of hate, or they want destruction. But the people who pervade that ideology from the very tippity top, the only way that they can get their ideology is to destroy something else. In order to build what they want, they have to destroy the existing thing. That is what you are seeing, and the only way that they're doing it is through shock rhetoric in order to scare people and motivate them through fear to vote for them and give them power. Now, let's keep going, because this is so key. Democrats are hardly alone in their political fatigue. A Pew Research Center survey last year found that 65% of Americans said they are always or often felt exhausted when they talk about politics. Quote, "Exhaustion is underlying the entire attitude towards our presidential election," said Whit Ayers, a veteran Republican pollster. "When you've got two people that are opposed by 70% of Americans who want a different choice, it creates frustration, anxiety, and discouragement." Yes, it does. That's the reason that on this channel, I don't do fear porn. I don't do fear clickbait. I try to keep it as best and realistic as I can in how we're going to do it, offer a solution. The point at which we have held the line and the solution time is coming to push back is right now. I'm telling you, for the New York Times to write this and to put this out and use these quotes and these specific people, you are seeing a fever pitch of the fear motivation and shock rhetoric, and you're about to see something else start to take its head. I promise you it's going to happen. Now, 39% of Democrats picked exhaustion from the list of sentiments offered, and just 26% of Republicans chose exhaustion. So a 13-point swing in exhaustion difference levels, Democrat to Republican. Which side is constantly doing fear? Now, don't get me wrong, both are guilty of it right now. But which side does it the worst? Exactly, the one that's the most fatigued. Here we go. Here's another quote. Quote, "They hear it every cycle. This is the most important election ever," said Leah Daughtry, a Democratic strategist. While she considers Mr. Trump an existential threat, she said, quote, "People want to vote for something and not necessarily against something." That is it. That is what we do on this channel. That is why we do all the things in the angle that we do. This is all about passing on the next generation and voting for something, not against something. Yes, we're going to tell you what's going on. Yes, they're going to try to infringe on you. That's not a surprise. They've told you they're going to do it. But what are we going to do about it? That's the whole point. That's why the feedback that I get on this channel when I meet you guys is thank you for being positive. Thank you for keeping it objective, and then also having a solution included. It's not just, we're screwed. And that's an important piece to this. And this is not me tooting my own horn. I'm telling you what you guys are telling me whenever I see you guys at events, all right? Now this next one. After years of feeling that the country was veering from one crisis to the next, Mr. Dower, who said he voted for Mr. Biden in 2020, suggested that he was burned out. Quote, "We've dealt with so many emergencies these past few years, national emergencies, perceived emergencies, real emergencies. It's just kind of like that is not really a strong motivator for me anymore," said Mr. Dower, who is based in Los Angeles. Understand what that is. They have driven the shock value and rhetoric of crises and existential threat and world-ending fear for 8 years now. They can't handle it anymore because, going back to what I said prior, You cannot build a movement based off of fear and hatred. You can build movements and preserve rights and build a better country together through hope and courage and looking at things that are constitutional, that are built. That's a key distinction. Last thing I'm going to show you, and this one right here is going to blow your mind. New York Times, if you're still with me. A lot of us would like a more positive thing to motivate us, he said. Not just purely do this or else this bad thing is going to happen. That is it in a nutshell. We are going to pass the rights that we've received and we have to our next generation. The time for fear porn, the time for fear rhetoric, the time for motivating people through fear is changing. It is turning. It's not over immediately, and you're going to hear more of it because it's 2024. But I'm telling you, over the next, I would guess, 8 to 10 years, you're going to see a switch from the fear into the hope, and I hope that we are a big part of that. I don't know how it's going to be, but I think that we will be. Everything is linked. Let me know what you guys think of this message, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.